Hi everyone, welcome back to the Grand Lodge podcast. As always, my name is Matt Trainor. I'm the Communications Manager at Masonic KWA. I'm here today with the Grand Master, Most Worshipful Brother Peter Kirwan, and we're going to have another update on all the things that have been happening in and out of the Lodge Room and at Grand Lodge. Before we get into that though, I just want to give a quick shout out and thanks to everyone who has given a comment or some feedback on these episodes. It's been really encouraging and we've been able to pencil in some exciting episodes to come up. So thanks very much. If you do have some more feedback you'd like to send us, just fire it through either on Facebook or through the website, freemasonswa.org.au, and click on Contact Us. G'day Grand Master, it's great to see you back here.
All right, thank you very much. And I would also like to pass on my thanks not only to the media group as normal, but to all the staff behind the scenes, Masonic Care and Grand Lodge, the MCOs that have actually had to sacrifice a fair bit during the COVID-19. So thank you to all those staff members that have helped and put in a little bit extra, and also taken some hardships as well. So thanks on behalf of Grand Lodge. Thank you to yourselves and to all your fellow workers.
Thanks, Grand Master. As someone who falls into that category, I really appreciate it. Yeah, it was an interesting time being asked to cut the hours down, yet still maintain the workload. But that's okay. You know, we're all here to do a job, so it's all part of the fun. I want to touch on some of the positive news that's come out of the COVID-19 situation recently. Obviously, WA has been doing an incredible job of keeping new cases low. And so there's going to be a lot more speculation about the restrictions becoming less severe, and that speculation, I suppose, into when Masonic activity can actually return and what it will look. So on that note, can you speak about any of the plans that are in place now that sort of time is closing in?
Yep, thanks Matt. I agree with the comments about how well WA's been going, and I think that we should all be thankful of the leadership that our Premier and also our Prime Minister have given. The governments, both state and federal, look at the big picture, and it's up to organisations like Freemasonry and the members within Freemasonry to start looking after the little things. And if we want to get back to normality and having lodge meetings as quick as we can, we have to really concentrate on what we do and plan it properly, because a false step can have absolutely disastrous consequences. And with that in mind, we haven't made any set decisions yet. The state government is allowing meetings with 10 people, but that's not meetings, it's gatherings. And that also includes social distancing. But that doesn't allow lodges to start again, because there's a lot of other things that go with it. And we have to look at so many different things. So what the Board of Grand Lodge has just decided a couple of days ago, we've requested the Ceremonial Procedures Committee to form a special subcommittee to look at this and get back to the board as soon as they can. And they are going to look at several issues. And I've written a discussion paper for them to use as a basis. And what we're looking at is everything from a lodge room, a festive board, meetings, cleaning before the meetings, cleaning after the meetings, whether we have festive boards, whether we can go somewhere else, travelling through regions, installations, and the actual changes to our ceremonies, which will have to be required until social distancing is being withdrawn. And I think that might be, you could be looking at 12 to 18 months before that happens. So we're doing a lot, and we're looking at a lot of things. So I can go through a couple of them, but I think you might have a couple of questions and we can work on that first, and I might be able to expand it.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so I guess before getting too far ahead of ourselves and looking at the plans for the future as such, can we talk about maybe some of the decisions or the intentions around catching up on sort of lost time for these past few months?
Once the lodges are up and running, and they'll have to follow the procedures and protocols that will be put in place by Grand Lodge, there will be a lot of lodges that will need to do quite a few ceremonies if they want to catch up. And I know there's at least 6 or 7 lodges that have 10 plus candidates lined up or ceremonies lined up to do. And obviously, if they need to double up, either candidates, they need to do 2 ceremonies on one night, they need to have extra days to do ceremonies. They will start to formally apply to do that, but obviously Grand Lodge will not be charging. There'll be no dispensation charges. That's my discretion as Grand Master. and the board has already been told of this. It's not going to affect the board financially because we weren't expecting that income in the first place. And we really do need to get Freemasonry back up and running, and the board recognises that, and we're going to try and do everything we can to allow lodges to duplicate, do extra, whatever they can, long as it's within the protocols and procedures we set down, which will be coming out as soon as we can, and there won't be any financial impost on the lodges to do that. So I'm fully trying to encourage lodges to do as much as they can.
Yeah.
So.
And Grandmaster, what about installations, and for any of those lodges that may have missed out while all the meetings were on suspension?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. There's going to be several options for lodges, and it ultimately comes down to the lodges to make their decision on what they do. The procedures and protocols that are going to be devised will allow the lodges to make their choice. Primarily, if the lodge has gone so long that they're so close to their installation next year, they can carry forward with their existing master. That's actually in the ritual. For those who have gone through that position, you would know that. There may be a situation where a master cannot continue, or there could be a situation where you just need to reinvest the officers within the lodge, but the master stays where he is. We're all going to look at ceremonies that will cover all that take into social distancing. But there's various things we also have to look at as well, is that if you have an installation, and depends on your size, your lodge room, how many people can you have in there if we have to have social distancing inside a lodge room? If you've got to sit 1.5 metres apart, a lot of lodges aren't going to be able to have very many people at a lodge installation. So with that in mind, I have recommended to the subcommittee that we reduce the size of any Grand Lodge team to basically 5 people, which would be the DGIW, who'll act as a marker, the Grand Director, myself or my representative, and 2 deacons, and that's it. I don't see it necessary for a sword and standard to accompany the Grand Master during these times. It just takes up extra seats, and without any disrespect to the Grand Officers, but I think that the lodges themselves should have the priority on who should be there. And if you've got limited numbers, you don't want Grand Lodge hoarding all the room inside a lodge room. The lodges should be inviting the people that they really want, and they will not be able to invite people onto the team. It's just, that's it. Those 5 people will be it. And when they go and sit in the east, as the lodges will know, that allows for spacing in nearly every lodge room, only having 5 people there. So there's little procedures like that we have to look at. And without sounding like I'm discriminating against age, I will be making sure that some of our past Grand Masters and past Deputy Grand Masters that are not in the full health and also over a certain age will not be asked to lead teams. Until this is all settled, I know there are a couple of Grand Masters that aren't travelling well in health, but always put their hands up and always want to lead teams, but I'm afraid I'm going to basically have to swap them out because I can't afford any Freemason, whether it's an entered apprentice or a past Grand Master, to be put at risk. And some of our past Grand Masters have got an incredible amount of energy, but if they're in the age bracket, I probably won't let them lead any teams. I won't allow them to put themselves in harm's way.
There's no doubt that some of the smaller lodges, and particularly those lodges in country and regional areas, are eager to return. So how can they be supported, especially if they have many members that would fall into the at-risk category for COVID-19?
Well, I can tell you, Matt, leading on from the recommendations and the discussion paper I've given the subcommittee, regional lodges and country lodges are specially mentioned, and we have to find a way to help them out. A lot of country lodges don't handle an installation just by themselves. But because lodges are fairly small, and a lot of country lodges are fairly small, if they want to have a full installation, and depends on who wants to come along, they may have to look at a different location. Whether they look at a country hall, whether they look at a neighbouring lodge room that's larger, or whether they look at another lodge and have a installation on the same day as them. One could have an installation in the morning, one could have it in the afternoon at a larger lodge room. One grand team does both installations, and you can have the visitors there. The festive boards are still probably going to be recommended away from a lodge room. A couple of reasons is, and first but foremost, is the restrictions on food handling and food serving. Everybody would have heard that the state government has required every member of the hospitality industry, the 70,000 that work there, to undergo compulsory courses before they can return to work. That is obviously a big concern of the state government. Now, we have to apply that to ourselves, and you're looking at the catering inside a lodge room, a catering inside the kitchen, and the way the food is served and prepared. And unless our guys are trained, we'll probably be in breach just as much as somebody that didn't do the course, working in a cafe or restaurant. So what I'm going to suggest is that lodges go, and this is not only country, but even city lodges, go and have their festive boards at a cafe or a restaurant that is open and abiding by the COVID-19 restrictions. That way, they have all the responsibilities, they know what's in place, and we don't have to worry about it. It also means that we're also supporting local business, and I think if a local lodge, especially if a country town, can have a country installation and then go to a local business and support them, that would make the Freemasons pretty popular with that local business. And if you have it in a larger centre, you might be able a larger place, or you might be have it in if you have a bowling club or a rec centre, your caterers that normally look after you have to be proven to abide by the COVID-19 health code. So they're all the things you have to bear in mind for the country lodges. I'm also thinking of getting a flying squad together of brethren that can assist in installations if country lodges have a lot of elderly brethren and they don't want to put them at risk. We will provide you with a number of brethren that will help out. So that's something else we want to try and do. We want to try and make sure that the lodges, especially in the country areas, continue as normal as they can, but within the COVID-19 restrictions, which primarily means social distancing, not having festive boards in your lodge rooms or controlled by yourselves and served by lodge stewards. They're going to have to be outside people that are fully trained. So we're going to try and do everything we can to help the country lodges. And if we can, they're just going to have to contact us and we will assist. It's also one of the reasons I've reduced the size of the Grand Lodge team. The country lodges should be having their own local friends coming into the installation and not full of guys with dark blue regalia piling in. But hopefully we'll help them out and as much as we can.